The moment this baby was born, I was holding him in my arms and I was like, man, what a perfect little guy. And the doctor came in and said, we think this baby has trisomy 21, Down syndrome.
When you get someone who you can connect to because they tell their true story that just connects with you, instant love for that person.
I felt something growing out of me, and it was my true self saying, that's because you need to write from your soul. Nobody else can write that.
People and things and jobs, they're chapters, right? And they're all there for a purpose.
When you are really struggling and you want to make a change, just remember, today's your last day today. Maybe tomorrow will be different.
Welcome to Done Pretending, the podcast where healing meets authentic living. I am your host, Susan Houston, storyteller, mentor, and believer in the power of truth to set us free. This is your sanctuary for the soul, a safe space where we peel back the layers of judgment and fear to uncover the beauty of living real. Each week, you'll hear stories of courage, resilience, and transformation that remind you it's never too late to become who you were created to be. I'm so glad to have you all here today. You are in for a treat. I have my friend Amanda Wais.
Mm.
Yes, she's so sweet. So
Aw.
I've gotten to know her over the last couple of months, and she has an incredible story. And we're
Mm.
going to talk a lot about pretending and being done pretending about who we were, who we are. Let me tell you a little bit about Amanda. She is an award-winning author. She is a transformational speaker, and she also coaches authors and helps people publish, so that they can rekindle their authenticity. And I love it because she's very connected in human wise.
Mm.
She really believes in sharing her truth, and that makes her just so warm and so real. So,
Aw.
yeah, I have been drawn to you from the beginning. So,
Aw, thank you. Thank you. It's always so interesting to hear what other people have to say about you. Like we can give our bios but when we get introduced to someone from the heart, it's really neat to see what comes out. So
yeah.
thank you for that, Susan.
You are very welcome. Well, a conversation that we had recently was being a mother and how you came out of pretending to be someone that you really weren't. Why
Yeah.
don't you tell a little bit about that whole journey because it's deep.
Oh, I would love to. Yeah, so I grew up in the Midwest with like an easy life from what I would say.
Where in the Midwest
And
did you grow up?
Wisconsin.
Ah. I was in Missouri.
Kind of central eastern Wisconsin. And then I moved to the upper peninsula of Michigan, where I still am now. Been for here for 20 years. Love it. Right on Lake Superior. Love it. But I never really questioned the things I was told, except my religious upbringing. But that's a whole different story. So I just kind of did what I thought I should do. I had this boyfriend. We moved up here together, and we were together for quite a few years. And we got married. And I was like, okay, even though I tried to leave him a few times. But
What do you
anyway,
think stopped you from leaving them?
I didn't know who I was without him, and he always changed to bring me back.
Yep. For a little while
So
anyway, right?
yeah, for a little while until I was like, oh man, see, this is not gonna work. But yeah, I was an alpha and he was an alpha, and I was not alpha in the relationship. And so I was like, who am I? And
Mm.
every time I tried to be something, I got, no, I feel so bad because he's a great man. He really is. But we weren't meant to be together forever. So we've forgiven each other and all that. But yeah, finally we did get married and I had a baby. And the moment this baby was born, I was holding him in my arms and I was like, man, what a perfect little guy. And the doctor came in and said, we think this baby has trisomy 21, Down syndrome.
Oh.
And I looked at my baby, who I thought was perfect. And I said, what do you mean? What? Why? Told me all the characteristics. I checked out my kid and I was like, okay, well, I mean, he has those characteristics, but the doctor said, we're going to get a karyotype and we'll let you know. And so we all kind of just sat there and we're like, okay, this is a different journey. In my mind, as someone who, vulnerability, right?
Yep.
I grew up with my mom as a nurse, and she took me to all these facilities, hospitals with wings with different people who had a hard time
Mm,
talking, thinking, moving, and I would always hide behind her. I would ask to stay in the van if I didn't have to go in. I was terrified of people who I didn't understand how they thought
mm,
my whole life, like, run away. And so told this little boy who just came onto my body and to be told he had Down syndrome was it could have been a crushing moment for me, but luckily, I am one who always looks at the bright side, and I thought, "Then I'm gonna learn a new way. I'm gonna learn why. I'm gonna learn." And so, wow, I mean, I've been learning ever since that day. I learned to advocate for him medically. It was very challenging. And then ultimately for myself. And during those times, I really realized my unhappiness in my relationship still was there. And finally, I decided to call it quits. And we were fairly amicable about it. Nobody really wants to say they failed a marriage,
right.
but that one wasn't gonna work, and so there we were, and I still had to learn so much about myself,
Mm,
being with someone for, oh gosh, I don't even remember how many years, but to come out of that and to really learn who I was and to bring up my son who showed me in every moment what real, true authenticity looks like,
mm,
feels like, acts like. I mean, my kid, when he started to be able to talk, he was maybe 4 or 5 when people kind of started to understand what he was saying. He would go up to them, "What's your name?" "Oh, hi, Bob. I love you." And he would give them a hug. And then he'd go to every single person. If he went to a table, every person at the table. If we were
mm.
at the park, every table in the park. If we're in the waiting room at the hospital, which we were many times, every person in the waiting room makes their day. Even people who I would never go up to and talk to them, right? Maybe they had, just for my taste, I don't have tattoos. So maybe too many tattoos, maybe their outward appearance scared me or some other thing about them. I was like, I don't think I would say hi to that person. He goes right up. Hi, what's your name?
Yeah.
Yes, and sometimes the people that I judged are the ones who just get down on one knee. Hey, little buddy, thanks for saying hi, fist bump, And he blows my mind when he cracks open humanity in such an authentic, genuine way. And I've been watching him. He's 11 now, and this has not stopped. It's
Oh.
only gotten more. And so that's why I started being a speaker because I want him to be on stages with me someday,
Mm,
and we can go around the world and talk about what real love is,
yes.
what connection is in humanity. So that's kind of my story about how my little guy changed my world. And one more quick thought about that. As a writer, I was a freelance travel writer, adventure writer before that. He was in my belly and I was traveling and writing my second book and he was born and I had to tell all my editors, I can't. I was in the hospital half the time. I'm like, I
Yeah.
can't do this anymore. So that part of me died,
Mm,
but the part of me that was born was so fulfilling, like, if you don't mind quick, I wrote my memoir, Digging for Light, a
oh.
memoir to inspire humanity, and that recently won the International Impact Book Awards for memoirs.
Woo-hoo.
Yeah, thank you. So I'm saying, like, pouring out your soul is so much more purposeful than writing what other people want you to do, or I'll just say it, in any field,
Yes.
right? Yeah, that you're talented in, and you're still doing what someone else wants you to do. And some people need that,
Hmm.
but I'm ready to, do my own thing.
This story, I think why it resonates with so many people is it's real and it's raw. And what I've noticed in the age of social media and even the speaking community, there are these personas that get up on stage and when you get someone who you can connect to because they're real, because they tell their true story that just connects with you, it's instant. It's an
Oh,
instant love for that person because I'm just so tired of seeing perfection everywhere. and
Mm,
none of us are perfect. So I have a question for you. When you had to walk away from your job of being that travel writer,
mm.
what did you feel? Did you go through a period of sadness, of regret at all?
Yeah, it was I'm not gonna lie, that was the first year of my child's life, and it was so emergency based that
Yeah.
it's really hard to remember my feelings, but I know that something in me died because I was like, okay, I'll be a mom and I'll be a writer. Like, what a great combination. I'll have
Yeah.
time to write, right? Because I'm just a mom. Oh my
Oh,
God.
just a mom. Mhm.
Oh, I learned that that is an oxymoron.
Oh, it is.
So
Yeah.
it is. So yes, I did feel crushed. Like, what am I gonna do now?
Mhm.
No one's paying me to write. But I would say almost as instantly as I felt that crush, I felt something growing out of me. And it was my true self saying, that's because you need to write from your soul. Nobody else can write that. And I just kept hearing this phrase like, nobody else can write this, Amanda.
Mm.
Anybody else can travel to the ski hills and the hiking paths and write about it,
Mhm.
but nobody can write what's coming up for you. And then I knew that was
Purpose.
my new purpose. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. That really resonates with me because I had started 2 businesses in my 20s. One,
Wow.
I had a retail store, and then I started a manufacturing business of children's line. And when my girls were young, they were just entering school age, and we were traveling a lot. My husband at the time did it with me, and I just realized I can't do this. They would
Mhm,
come with us, but I didn't want to be on the road, 40
mhm,
weekends a year or whatever. And so I took a job that ended up being just a fabulous job. I had it for 19 years as an executive admin in a CPA office. But
mhm,
I always felt like I had given up a part of me. And even though I turned the business over to my husband, I had to completely walk away. I had to
mhm,
completely let go because I couldn't live in both worlds. And that's part of the reason that I left my
mhm,
job, my W-2 job was truly the people there were amazing, but it had
mhm,
served that purpose in my life. My kids were grown, they were now married, and I knew that I had the bigger purpose too. And it's taken a while for me to believe that I'm capable of fulfilling on that. And we talk a lot about that too, because, it's like, what do you mean? I'm going to talk about everything that I've experienced or witnessed or watched people struggle with that I've struggled with. It's like, who's going to want to listen to that? But it's all
mhm.
those, I call it secondhand doubt. It's all those voices in your head that are just, right? They're not ours.
No,
We've
they're
just
not.
kind of inhaled it from somebody else.
Yes.
So, oh,
One thing I always ask people, whose voice is telling you that?
right.
When they say, but I can't, I'm like, whose voice is really telling you that? They're like, it's my mom. But I can totally relate to what you're saying too, because being a writer, like, okay, being a writer does not make you rich unless a J.K. Rowling or someone like that. So I had to get other
100%.
jobs, and I did a more, I guess, corporate job at the township I was at. It was numbers. It was in the clerk department, and I'm a writer, and I'm trying to do numbers. And yes, it was great pay, but after a few years, I was like, guys, I mean, I had headaches. I felt sick. Didn't have any energy for my child. I had money, but I wasn't well,
Yeah.
in my life, and so I had to leave that job, but then I started my own podcast maybe 3 years ago now, and then I wrote my next book, which was a novel that also won an award, so I'm like, "Okay, you know, when you let go of the thing and you really get into the stream of what you're made of, good things happen if you keep focused on them." So,
Yeah.
good for me and good for you.
I 100% agree. So your son's 11 now.
Yes.
Now, you had told me you're not doing your podcast anymore right now.
Correct. Yep.
Why did
Just
you
too
decide to give it up?
it was too much for a one-woman show. I was
Mhm.
doing it all myself, and I wasn't monetizing it, and
Mhm.
I thought, "Oh my god, the hours I'm putting into this, I could be doing something else. And at that time, I also decided to start author coaching and editing and formatting and publishing for other people. And so I was trying to juggle all that. And when I was too busy, I said, okay, what can I let go of? As our life evolves, it always becomes, we get these waves of now there's too much. What do I need to let go of? And that was one of them.
Yeah. If this episode hits something for you, don't keep it to yourself. Follow me and follow the show so you don't miss what's next. Leave a comment because I actually do read them, and share this with someone who needs to hear it, even if they don't know it yet. Yeah. Well, they're people and things and jobs, they're chapters, right? Chapters in our lives. And they're all there for a purpose. I don't regret any of it at all because it's all taught us something. It just keeps feeding into the next thing that we do and who we become.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's all experience, you
Yes.
know? Like, I
Yeah.
love being a podcast host, but now I love being a podcast guest. And if I could ever be a host again with a team, I totally would. Because
Yeah.
I know even so many more awesome people now. And I will tell you, I don't know if you feel this way, but as a host of a show, Susan,
Mhm.
don't you kind of wish like you could tell your own story more? I mean, do you ever want to be interviewed?
So my podcast, I try and balance guests
Yes. Okay.
versus me.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of pieces of my story that I've put little tidbits out here and
Mhm.
there, but there's so much more. And I think what allowing me to talk to people like you has done is
Mm.
it's making it very clear to me it's okay to tell all those dark parts. It's okay to, admit that life wasn't easy, even though we pretended like it was, right? We're the happy moms, and even though like you had yes. So
Very
true.
true.
And yet there were days where I can remember just going to my car before going into my job, just like, how do I do this? How do I keep going? And we did.
One more day.
One more
Listen,
day.
my boyfriend, he doesn't really like his job. Oops.
Oh,
I said that, but that's okay. I keep telling him this is his last year. But anyway, I tell him, babe, this is the last day today. It's the last day today. You can get through today, then it's done. So
yeah.
I would really offer that advice to anyone. So when you are really struggling and you are really having a hard time and you know you want to make a change, just remember today is your last day today. Like if you can get through today, maybe tomorrow will be different.
Yeah.
You can always make a change anytime, even during the day. You don't have to wait for January 1st. You don't have to wait for Monday. You don't have to wait for next day you wake up. You can make a change anytime when you're not happy. That's the best time to is when you're irritated enough where you're like, "Ah, screw that. I'm not doing that ever again." Okay?
And
Yep.
sometimes those have been my biggest moments to make change because I've always been so, what's the word, calculated
Mm.
in planning when I'm going to talk to someone. And a lot of it I learned to catch them at the right time. My mom and I used to call that walking on eggshells, right?
Yes.
So, you're very strategic in what you say and what you do to avoid conflict. And man, I got really good at that
But
till
it's
till it
exhausting.
it it just boils over.
Oh, yeah. It's exhausting.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it is. Because that's not your problem. It's
Right.
really not. Ultimately, it's not.
There's a certain amount of us being respectful and being
Oh,
kind and
yeah.
all of that.
Yeah.
But I can't control how you're going to react to it.
No.
And but I got good at it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, yeah. And
Wow.
so now it's like, okay, this is me. Not everybody's gonna like me, and that's okay.
Give
And
them your truth, and they can decide.
right.
Yeah.
Yes,
That just
100%.
pretending pretending to be someone else is exhausting. That's why I love the name of your show so much. I remember the times I was pretending and I was exhausted
Talk to me
putting
about some
on
of
this
those times. What
act.
do you remember about it?
Oh my gosh. Well, you know what? One of the biggest things that I did and I covered up was especially just seeing myself now and how I'm able to grow and pay attention and scrub my soul. I used to drink a lot
Mm.
because I was afraid of my potential.
Hmm.
I boiled it down to, yeah, this was wrong and that was wrong, and but once I made all those changes and I was with a man that I really loved and he loved me back and it was safe and all that, and I was like, "But what is it now?" I realized I was still afraid of who I could become, like, I am becoming, if not already, I'm a true leader in this world,
Yeah.
and I know that my calling is great, and one day I asked the universe, because it was one of those moments, I'm like, "Why am I here? Like, what is my purpose?" And I kid you not, it, like, came through the window in text. It said, get this, "To help raise the consciousness of humanity to its highest potential." I
Wow.
was like, "Oh, how do I do that?"
Yeah,
So
that's
part of
scary.
me yeah, part of me was really scared of the responsibility of that. And
Mhm.
so I would drink, like, I mean, I drink all probably almost every day, not every day. And then every time my child was with his dad or his grandma or anywhere else, I got slamming drunk. I mean, because I just wanted to shut everything out.
Yeah.
That's pretending. That was pretending that my life didn't exist. That was pretending that tequila could solve all my problems. Tequila and a dance party till dawn. That was my thing. You can ask the people who lived in my community. They know disco lights. I mean, it was fun, but it was not sustainable
Yeah.
and it was not real.
Yeah.
It wasn't
Yeah.
true. So that's probably the biggest thing that comes up for me, but and as someone who has recovered, I mean, I'll tell you, it took over 3 years from when I stopped drinking
Mhm.
for me to admit to myself that I actually was an alcoholic. Like, I never wanted that term associated with myself. I just didn't. I was like, "Oh, I'm just a binge drinker," you know? Every time my kid was gone, I'd let loose. But really, even when I had him with me, I might have 1, maybe 2, maybe 3, but I always knew that he could have to go to the hospital at any point. So
You
I
controlled it. Yeah.
yes, I kept it controlled, and which was really, really good.
Yeah.
And it was really, really good. But every time someone else was around to be in charge, oof, look out. And that was not healthy. So for me to say that I will never drink again makes me feel so good.
Mm.
Because now it's my truth.
Yeah.
You know, I'm truly who I am. I don't have to pretend with this bottle in my hand and this jingly skirt on my hips and this loud music playing. Like,
Oh, we
here
gotta
is
dig up those pictures.
oh my gosh. Well, you want to know what's funny? I keep my disco lights going
You've got
so I can celebrate my authors. So I can be like, you wrote your book, yeah. You wrote your book, yeah. You wrote your book, yeah. Because I think celebration, even for little things, is so important. So
love
I do keep a celebratory vibe
I love it.
going anyway. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, I had told you before we started, after my second daughter was born, I would take drinks of vodka. And I
Mm,
wouldn't say I did it every day. And I don't even know why I did it, but I think it
mm,
was just the act that I could
mm,
and that it was, I think it did numb me a little bit. You know, I had 2 little girls, I had
that's
a
a lot.
business, I had a marriage that was difficult. You know,
Mm,
it was fine.
mm,
He's an incredible dad, but and then I went to the doctor because all of a sudden I started getting weird reactions when I would drink. I would get first it started as the rosacea. And I have Korean and Filipino friends, and they're like, "Oh, you've just got the Asian flush." And I'm like, "Okay." And but then there was one night where I had maybe half a glass of wine and I got sick and
ooh.
my legs were aching. So I went and talked to my doctor and he goes, "Yeah, you have alcohol poisoning." I said, "How can I have that?" I mean, I partied when I was a teenager, but
Yeah.
from a half a glass of wine, he goes, "Yeah, your body's," he goes, "The best way I can describe it is you're allergic to it, your body processes it wrong, and it's turning
Mm,
it," he goes, "Think of it turning it into formaldehyde or something in your system." And I'm like, "So what does that mean?" He goes, "That means you stop drinking." And I'm
yeah.
like, "Well, everything like beer and spirits and wine?" He goes, "Yes, everything." And I remember asking him, "Okay, and option 2 is?" And he goes, "Susan," he's like, I can tell you how to mask your symptoms, but it's going to destroy your inside and very quickly. You're getting heart palpitations, you're getting weird, crazy stuff. So it wasn't hard for me to walk away from it, but that took a little bit of an identity shift too, because now I couldn't go to the parties and have my glass of wine. You go out to dinner and it's like, no, I'll have sparkling water. And I never really missed the alcohol. Sometimes I'd miss tasting something,
Mhm.
but what I did miss was being in groups of people where everyone's loosening up because of alcohol and me
Mhm.
sitting there going, "Okay, now how do I be that?"
Mm.
You know? It took me
Yeah,
a little while to step into that.
I believe that, and that's something I feel comfortable speaking to too,
Mhm.
because as someone who has done the work and continues to do the work on myself, I no longer need to mask how I feel or who I am by drinking alcohol. But I know most people do. Not most, maybe it depends what groups you hang out in. There's a
Yeah.
lot of people that really enjoy and almost, I can't say need, but it's just a nice way for them to let their guard down and maybe say the thing that they wouldn't have said otherwise, just to
Yeah.
kind of vent. It helps people vent, I think. And I love being around a group of people when they're having their first drink or their second drink
Yes.
because I'm like, oh God, I can finally have a conversation with you now. You're
Yeah,
not hiding
exactly.
behind all these things. But when it gets a little rowdy, then I'm like, all right, I'm out, guys.
Yeah, yeah, I
That's
got
fine.
my tolerance level, was I just didn't wanna be around it at all. Like you said, the first couple drinks were great, but
Mhm.
after that, it's like, I'm not enjoying this anymore, so
Yeah, and then sometimes I think, "Oh my god, I thought that was me. That was me."
I know, I always laugh when people ask me about it because, I have a bunch of friends that have known me since high school and
Mm,
they've seen the whole progression and they're like, "Do you ever miss it?" And I'm like, "No, I
mm.
don't." And now you can go anywhere and get these incredible mocktails.
Oh, yeah.
It's, before it was like, "What can you make me that's non-alcoholic?" And it was always, "Oh, I can make you a virgin margarita." Yeah, I'll pass. Thank you very
Yeah.
much. But
Yeah,
now
they
there's
do
all
fun
these
things
great
now.
things.
Mhm.
So it's fun trying all those. But,
It is.
well, you are amazing.
Oh, thank you. So are you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
I love interviewing people and I love the groups that we're in because
Mm.
what what I enjoy the most is everyone truly wants to help everybody else. There's the camaraderie and I tell the people that I coach this all the time, you have to surround yourself with the right people. You have to get in that groove that you can be authentic with that is also going to understand the specific struggles that you're going through.
Mhm.
So you can't just join a business group and talk about overcoming self doubt all the time.
Mm.
It's a part of it, but our groups, we talk about the struggles of the podcast and the writing and all of that. And when you go and try and talk to people outside of that, they're just like, what? You know,
What? You do that? Wow.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's really, really important to do that. I'm starting a cohort to yeah, it'll be in April. Yeah. So you'll hear more in the groups, I'm sure.
Yay.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
exciting. And
So
I wanna say quick, if I may, that I
yeah,
totally agree with you. When someone comes up to me and they're like, "I'm thinking about writing my book." What's the first thing I do? I say, "Get in a community." Like, I offer a community. We meet every month for free, the 4th Monday of every month. It's like, come bring your questions, bring your fears, bring your
yeah,
doubts, bring your excitement, bring your ideas, bring your paper, and we
yep,
can look it over with you. It's just like when people try to do anything that takes a lot of courage, strength, knowledge that they don't have, get in a community of people who know
yes.
what's going on and you're so supported. You're supported, you're held accountable, you're celebrated with disco lights. It's such a great it's such a great way to like support. We can't do everything alone,
No, no.
nor should we try.
And when you have people who really do care, they will see things through a different lens and can further you along faster.
Yeah. Totally. Oh, yeah, I remember when I did blah, 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 and then I just did this. And how many years would it have taken you, trial and error your way through that to get that one nugget?
Yep. Yep.
Oh, man.
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
I love the communities I'm into, so it's wonderful.
Well, I love that you have your own community too. So I'm going to put all of your information in the show notes, but I know your website is Cheeky Scribe, right?
Yeah.
I love that.
Cheeky
And your
Scribe.
email, cheapy at Copper Harbor Vitality.
Yes. Copper Harbor Vitality is my LLC that I started in 2017.
Nice. Why Copper Harbor? Is that where you live?
'Cause I lived in Copper Harbor, yep. It's the northernmost city in Michigan. Well, it's a town of 100 year-round residents, so that's where I lived,
Wow.
and people were so curious about it, so I'm like, "Why don't I just write about it?" So
Yeah.
that was kind of my niche for a while.
Oh, fun.
But yeah, and then to start the publishing company, I didn't want it to be called that. I'm like, "How about the cheeky scribe?" Because that's what we are. We're cheeky, and we'll poke you, and we'll get out that honesty, and we help you
Love.
write.
No, I
So
love that. and it's so
thanks.
you. It's so
Oh,
positive.
thanks. Thank you. We try to represent ourselves, right? We try to
Mhm.
do that right.
Well, in the name The Done Pretending came up, I was tossing around ideas with the people who are going to help me start the podcast,
Mm.
and nothing was just landing. They were great names and kind of had the same intent, but I just wasn't feeling it. And he called me. He was on the beach with his wife and his son, and I can hear, the wind and everything. He goes, "I got it." And he goes, "It's done pretending." He goes, "It just came to me. And it told me this is you." And I'm like,
Yes.
"Oh my gosh, that's it.
Yeah,
That's it."
awesome.
So,
It
yeah.
feels so good to resonate with what you call your work.
Yes.
It
Yes.
does.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Amanda. And
You started.
listeners, I just want to encourage you. This has been an incredible, vulnerable, authentic, really great episode. So share this with people that you want to experience the same thing. Go to my website. It's got all of my podcast episodes on it, along with a lot of other information. It's thesusanhouston.com. And all of Amanda's information will be there too. And be sure and hit that subscribe button so that you don't
Mhm.
miss anything. We come out about once a week. So
Yep.
thank you again, Amanda.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining me on Done Pretending, where healing meets authentic living. If today's conversation moved you, share this episode with someone who needs to hear it. And if you haven't yet, be sure to follow the show and leave a review. Your words help this message reach more hearts around the world. Remember, you are seen, you are loved, and your story has the power to set others free.